so much for coming back. It's good to see you again. Oh, thank you for asking. It's been a fun day. So, I heard that you've been talking to some of the other players, and you've been thinking about maybe making a few changes to your character. Okay. Well, I'd be happy to look at that with you. So they said you were talking about a few different races. Okay. Maybe doing like an elf or something that wasn't human. Of course, there's actually a whole bunch of different options, and I have a couple different books we can look at today. I'd be happy to look at them with you. So, are you still thinking about being a barbarian? Okay. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. What's that? Oh, no, you don't have to worry about that. I use a rule in Tasha's that allows you to pick the stats that you'd like for your character. You don't have to worry about being strong enough as an elf. You could be an elf barbarian if you wanted to, or a halfling, or anything really. Let's go ahead and take a look. Would you like to start with the elf, since that's something you were looking at doing? They're actually one of my favorite characters, or I should say races. Here's the art for them in the player's handbook. It's one of my favorite parts of this edition, is how inspiring this art is. So, you might have noticed that elf maybe looks a little different than you expected. That one is a drow. They typically live underground and are one of the subraces of elf in this game. There's also, in this setting, the wood elf and the high elf. The wood elf you can think of living amongst the trees and in the forests, really close with nature. And the high elves tend to live in, higher cities and high society. But if you decide to go that route, I can tell you much more about them in this setting. They can do a few interesting things. So, of course, elves live a lot longer than humans do, and they often get to around 750 years old. Most of them aren't even considered adults until they're 100. That's pretty fun. All elves have the ability to see in the dark much, much better than humans can. And one of my favorite traits that they have is the trance. Instead of needing to sleep at night, like other races do, they can just meditate for 4 hours and be fully rested. I've always thought that was bonuses that we can look at, but we'll come back to them. I think they're really fun and really thematic. Did you say that you were thinking about being a halfling as well? Okay. I usually get inspired that way too. Let's take a look. Halflings can be a lot of fun as well. I do like the art in this book for them as well. Don't they look like a very happy halfling? They just look so exciting. The book describes them as being affable and positive, with halflings trying to get along with everyone else, and loathing to make sweeping generalizations, especially negative ones. It sounds like a fun race. Of course, just like hobbits in the movies, halflings are a bit shorter than everyone else, and they are considered small. It says that typically their average height is about 3 feet, and they only really weigh around an average of 40 pounds. So, there's a lot of fun shenanigans you can get up to being a bit smaller in D&D, and we can look at a few of those. So, one really special thing about halflings is they're considered lucky. So, when you roll a d20, if you get a natural 1, as a halfling, you get to re-roll and take the new roll. It's really special. They are also brave, and it's hard for them to be frightened. There are 2 subraces in the book for them. One is the Lightfoot, and they are naturally stealthy. And then the Stout, and they are really hardy and can easily overcome poison. What's that? You want to take a look at orcs next? Okay, we can definitely do that. There are half-orcs in this book, so human and orc. But let's just go ahead and jump straight into the one here. So let me show you this book. This is Volo's Guide to Monsters. It's actually one of my favorite books. It has a lot of very interesting races in it. So, we'll look at the orc here. And then there's another one that I'd like to show you. And potentially another one after that. Okay, looks like we'll be going to page 118. This book is good for players and for the dungeon master. There's a lot of fun story ideas and information in the front of the book. Here we go. So, orcs are rather interesting in this book as well. So I think you know a little bit about their history. I know you were talking with the players about it. Mechanically, you get dark vision as well. You also will get the intimidation skill for free. And because orcs are built so strong and usually pretty large, they have the powerful build trait. It means that you count as a larger character when trying to pick up something or move something, or whenever you are carrying anything at all. It's pretty impressive. Basically, it makes you stronger. You also have the aggressive trait. So you can move towards an enemy in combat rather quickly and rather ferociously. I think that's one of the things that makes it the most fun to play an orc. But I thought you might be interested in the Goliath as well. So the Goliath is a half giant. I like to think of them as related to stone giants a little bit. So, Goliaths are the same way with their powerful build feature. And most Goliaths are between 7 and 8 feet tall, and usually weigh between 280 and 340 pounds. They also have a really wonderful feature called Stone's Endurance. So whenever they take damage, they can roll a d12 as a reaction and add their Constitution modifier to the roll and reduce the damage by that amount. So there's actually one more that I'd like to show you as well. This one is the Hobgoblin. I know that you had watched Lord of the Rings with some of the guys. I actually think that hobgoblins in this setting might make a better match for some of the urukai that you guys were talking about. So, hobgoblins are typically really smart and really cunning. And one of the traits that they have is martial training. So, no matter what class you are, they come with 2 weapons that they're trained in. And they have a saving face ability. And if you miss with an attack roll, or fail an ability check, you gain a bonus to the roll equal to the number of allies you can see within 30 feet. So basically, when you're with your friends, you do better and you're able to overcome things that might have been challenging. Let me show you a picture of a hobgoblin. They look a little bit different. They don't have a picture next to their stat block because goblins have a whole section in the front. So, this is a good picture of them. So, this is him. You can see he's got red skin and a little bit of a smushed face. But they tend to be leaders in goblin hordes. It's a very fun race. They're very interesting, but I'd be happy to tell you more about any of them. So, what do you think? Do you know what you want to be yet? That's okay. No rush. You can go home and think about it for a while and just tell me what you decide. If you have any questions or you want to look at a few other characters, a few other races to be, I'd be happy to take a look with you. I always appreciate it when you come over. I'm excited to play. Well, I'll see you soon. Have a safe trip.